Governor Walker's campaign released its second straight television ad last week, criticizing Democratic opponent Mary Burke over outsourcing. Burke has touted her experience as an executive at Trek Bicycle in the race for governor. Walker's ads accused her of profiting from a company that shipped jobs to China. Burke fired back with her own ad, criticizing Walker's job creation agency for giving tax breaks to companies that later moved jobs overseas. Why do companies outsource, and can they compete if they don't? We're asking John Torinas, the chairman of Serigraph in West Bend. He also writes a blog called Straight Talk from the Heartland. John Torinas, good to have you back on the program.
Thanks, Mike.
I was reading your blog, your recent blog, and I want to begin by getting your reaction to what we've seen in the governor's race, the back and forth on this issue of outsourcing.
They've been back and forth on a number of issues, including job creation as well. But it just strikes me as shallow. The world is not as simple as the candidates would like to make it out. You know, we have to, like it or not, we live in a global economy. We don't live in the 40s and 50s when America was on top of the world, even into the 60s or 70s. Maybe you could make an argument that we could pull up the bridges on the moat and operate in an isolationistic economy, but it just doesn't work that way anymore. I would gather, I'll bet your suit was made in Bangladesh, Mike.
Well, I don't know the answer to that.
I don't either. Let me check my label here.
But you're saying it is a world economy.
It's a world economy.
And the campaign does not reflect the reality that we live in?
Correct. So let me start with a story. Stories always make the point better. So we got a little company called Ashley Furniture over in Arcadia, Wisconsin. It started in '45, but really got going in 1970 in Wisconsin. And the entrepreneur was a guy named Ron Wanek. And so he's got a quote that I'll read. When I took my executives from Wisconsin over to China in the '70s to show them what we were up against, they became physically sick. They said to me, "We're doomed." So what did Wanek do? He decided to come up with a more collaborative global model, and he started sourcing components and parts from Taiwan and China. And today, and still, he bring them over here and assemble in the United States. So let's talk about the beneficiaries here. It is now the biggest furniture company in the world, in Wisconsin, headquartered here. They have 20,000 employees. Probably half of them are in Wisconsin. They don't break out their numbers. They probably got 10,000 jobs in Wisconsin and their corporate headquarters. They're a $4 billion company. Governor Walker was in Whitehall in Wisconsin in March, and he dedicated the opening, the expansion of a factory in Whitehall that created 300 more manufacturing jobs. So the point is, it's working.
Now,
it's working. And if he hadn't been able to outsource and compete with some inexpensive components made in China, he would have never got going.
But you acknowledge this is still an extremely politically volatile issue, that there are many people who see the fact that work has been moved from, say, Milwaukee to Mexico. They see that as really damaging the fortunes of a lot of working people in this state. You agree that politically it still plays as an issue?
Yeah, if you want to do sound bites and operate, if the subject is 12 inches deep and you want to go 1 inch deep, that's true. But we've got to be pragmatic. We've got to deal with the world we live in, and it's a very, very competitive place. I've got a partnership and a factory in India. We've got a factory in Mexico, and I had 2 factories in China. We couldn't make them go after 7 or 8 years, so we just sold them off. But when our customers tell us, John, sir, my company, Serigraph, you got to meet the India price or meet the China price. And by the way, we're moving into China, and we want you over there next to us. What am I going to tell them? No, we're going to just stay in Wisconsin? I mean, the imperatives are global. And so I doubt if there's any company of any significant size that doesn't have some activity in other parts of the world.
You have worked on a number of economic blueprints for the state, the Be Bold Wisconsin, the strategy, and as part of that, you said we need to hug our entrepreneurs. If I'm an entrepreneur and I'm watching this governor's race, both of these candidates, how should I feel?
Well, we've got one of the great entrepreneurs in Wisconsin, Dick Burke, who started Trek Bikes. Let's leave Mary out of it for a minute and just talk about Dick. He's gone now, but he should be on our Hall of Fame for entrepreneurs. And and they've got 1,000 jobs in the United States, most of them in Wisconsin. He should be one of the biggest heroes in Wisconsin. Instead, he's getting caught in this sort of bickering, this crossfire that's 1 inch deep on a 12-inch deep subject.
You want it. You said you want the conversation to move to a higher plane. Are you optimistic that that's going to happen?
Yeah, I am optimistic it'll happen because I think both parties are catching some deserved flack for being so superficial about this issue.
John Turinas is the chairman of Serigraph. He also writes a blog, Straight Talk from the Heartland. You can read it on the web. Thanks, John Turinas, for your time today. We appreciate it. When we come back, why do so many people know so little about politics?